We love leaning into more of like the micro influencer set as well. And, a lot of these people are trusting more of those. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of followers, but, putting out more of this trustworthy content, and you trust your friends and family, and anyone is really an influencer in this new online world within your each little community. So I think anything we can do just to show our fans how much they mean to us and how much we appreciate what they've done for us in this journey. We've gotten so digital, and I think AI is making us even more digital, that there's definitely that desire to connect from an in-person level and really make sure that you can experience things in a way that's a little bit more authentic.
My guest today is Caitlin Mack. Caitlin has led the marketing and branding at Lesser Evil for the past 7 years, including taking the company through a large rebrand in 2019. Today, as VP of Marketing, she oversees the brand as a whole, from package design to consumer marketing and trade strategies. Prior to Lesser Evil, Caitlin led social strategy for Fortune 500 clients at VaynerMedia. And when she's not slinging popcorn, you can find her exploring Connecticut with her husband and 3 little gurus. That word is going to come into play in a second. But Caitlin, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It is my pleasure. We had a great off-the-air conversation, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Me too.
And what I want to start with, for those not familiar, and I don't know how you couldn't be, but tell folks about Lesser Evil. Tell people about the brand.
Yeah, for sure. So we're an organic snack food company. We're headquartered in Danbury, Connecticut. Something kind of unique about us is that we're actually vertically integrated. So I actually sit above our warehouse where all of our snacks leave from on a daily basis. Our factory is about a half mile up the road. So I get to spend a lot of time kind of touching, feeling, smelling the product, which is really fun and kind of just helps you connect to the brand in a way that's a little bit unique, I think, to a lot of companies out there. Our signature product's popcorn, but we've really started to expand. I think the way we're really approaching it is we're trying to renovate the snacking category. So finding some of those nostalgic snacks that maybe don't have the best ingredients and figuring out how we can kind of lesser evilify them in a way that feels really joyful with our focus on clean ingredients.
Interesting. And it's available online and in certain retailers. Where can people find the brand?
Yeah, so we're pretty much everywhere now. A large majority of our sales are actually in store. So we're at Walmart's, Target, Whole Foods, all your regional grocery stores, for the most part, the Kroger's and the Publix, Sprouts. We have a couple of rotations at Costco. So you can also find us there. But we're in close to 40,000 doors nationwide. So you can find us pretty much anywhere you live in the country, which is exciting.
It is exciting. What's not to put you on the spot, but what's the percentage breakdown between e-com and in-store?
In-store is probably 99%. It's a massive chunk of our business. Yeah. And it just continues to grow.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to jump in, and we're recording this on November 20th. So we're well deep into the holiday planning stages for sure, and seasonal campaigns and things like that. Tell us about how Lesser Evil traditionally looks at holiday and seasonal campaigns, and are you doing anything different this year? Take it from there.
Yeah, for sure. So I would say the way that we get behind seasonal is a lot of kind of limited time products. So we really kicked off a lot of our seasonal programs in actually 2020 during COVID. Another benefit of being vertically integrated is that we had a little bit more flexibility in terms of what we were doing and kind of how we were structuring our line time. And so we started rolling out a number of seasonal products, including 2 holiday SKUs, which we have a chocolate peppermint and then we have a white chocolate marshmallow. So I think we found that seasonal is a really fun way. Popcorn's a relatively blank canvas. And so it's fun to be able to do these really unique flavors, really unexpected flavors that you may not expect to see in like a snack space. And we love it because I think it creates a lot of excitement for our loyal customers, kind of that knowledge that something new is coming. We have 6 seasonal programs throughout the year, kind of accumulating with our holiday program at the end of the year. And it's also awesome just from like a discoverability standpoint. So we get a lot of off-shelf displays in stores, sometimes seasonals in a different part of the store where people are, really focused on that kind of shopping. So it's a really nice entry point for the brand. If you haven't necessarily heard of us before, it's kind of just a different way for people to become aware and really start to come into the Lesser Evil fold.
Gotcha. Understood. Before I forget, I'm curious too, is what's the breakdown of marketing channels now with 99% in store? Like, I'm curious. I'm sure a lot of people, where are most of your marketing dollars? Is it broadcast, traditional, social?
We still spend a lot digital. I come from a social media background, so that's always been kind of where I started to put the focus when I took over the team 7 years ago. That was really what I knew and kind of grew up in the social world. I started in social when you weren't even able to really post on Facebook yet, and Instagram was a brand new platform. So I've kind of been able to evolve within like that channel, which has been really fun. So that's for sure still a big focus for us. We do a lot of organic. I would say we're mostly focused on Instagram and TikTok, a lot of organic stuff there. And then we also do a lot of paid Meta, and we do a little bit of paid TikTok driving like to our retailers. So we do a lot of like geo-targeting around our retailer locations, focused on, different drive periods for the stores. A newer channel for us where we're definitely spending a lot more money, I would say over the last 3 years, is retail media. So we're spending a lot there, both within, the retail platforms themselves, like the Roundels of the world. But we've also seen a lot of success with Instacart, and that's a big one for us. And I think it's been nice to, kind of create a little bit more of like the closed loop attribution in a lot of ways where it's tough to do when you're mostly an in-store brand. So it's been nice to be able to kind of see some of that direct results in terms of like our ROAS, leveraging a lot of those platforms.
Do you do any work with any influencers?
We do some influencer stuff. Yeah, we work with a handful of creators. I would say we kind of approach it in two different ways. We have a little bit of an always on approach. We work with a platform called Kale, where, you can apply to be a part of our campaigns. And we get a lot of really awesome in-store content through that of people doing their shopping hauls or building snack boards or kind of showing you how they go through the store experience. So we do a lot of work with them from like an always on perspective. And then we've just been testing some kind of out of the box different types of creators. Like for our pumpkin spice popcorn this year, we did a collaboration with a nail artist who created pumpkin nails and kind of, eating the snacks with the fun nails. We've also done a couple things with like a cookie decorator who actually did a cookie of our Lesser Evil bag. So I think kind of leveraging influencers from like more of the always on in terms of just like continuing that brand awareness, but also some of these more like unexpected collaborations. We've seen a lot of success just in terms of driving awareness with a new audience using some of those types of things.
Interesting. A few minutes ago, you used the word loyal.
Yeah.
I want to segue into the loyalty program, which is going to tie us back to the word you used to describe your children, gurus.
Yes.
So tell us the name of the loyalty program.
Yeah. So it's called the Guru Guild. So I think the way that obviously e-commerce, as we mentioned at the beginning, is a relatively small part of our overall pie. But I think we found that the people who are shopping on our website are really our loyal brand fans, and they're coming to find products that may not be in every single store. So I think when I, kind of talk about our distribution across the country, you're really getting like our two main popcorns are going to be in the majority of those stores, but we have a ton of other products. And so we're finding people coming to the website to kind of get those different things. Once they kind of come into the brand fold, they know and love us. So yeah, we use that as, really a way to kind of just make sure we're fostering that community within that loyal fan base. A lot of them are actually enrolled in a subscribe and save on the website. So it's just kind of a nice way it's a relatively, smaller group compared to the larger, less evil like landscape. But we think it's just a nice way to make sure that we're showing up for those fans who are really showing up for us.
Yeah. And I would imagine some of those, if they're not already, could very well become influencers.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like we love, leaning into more of like the micro influencer set as well. And, a lot of these people like are trusting more of those. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of followers, but, putting out more of this like trustworthy content, and you trust your friends and family, and anyone is really an influencer in this new online world, within your each little community. So I think anything we can do just to show our fans how much like they mean to us and how much we appreciate what they've done for us in this journey.
Yeah. And there's definitely lessons there for any brand in any industry when it comes to loyalty, right? Just to me, it's always been like, don't overthink it, right? Give them what they want, listen to them, and go from there.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's been nice about our social community. We have a pretty engaged community there, and we've really tapped into them as we're changing things that we offer on our website or asking them about flavors and products and stuff like that. And I think kind of leveraging those groups, which they're for your brand and they want to support your brand, has been really valuable for us.
Interesting. Hey, sorry for the interruption. We're going to get back to our show in one quick second, but stay with me. If you're in the need for anything SEO and or link building related, you need to do yourself one quick favor. You need to go to the website that's on the screen right now, stanventures.com. Go there, tell them Steve O sent you. The rest will take care of itself. Trust me. You can thank me later. Okay, I want to move to strategy for a second. And I talk to marketers, CMOs all the time, and there's a balance a lot of them have to face between long-term brand strategy and short-term campaign performance, right? And then when you, oh, by the way, the world is rapidly changing, literally as we're recording this, that's how fast things change. So in your role, how do you balance that one eye long-term, one eye short-term campaign? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think where I sit in the company, I'm pretty involved with a lot of different teams. So I work really closely with our innovation and product team to make sure that we're kind of thinking about what's coming next and looking at consumer trends, partnering with our sales lead to see what flavors and product types and things are popping that we're then kind of leaning into from an innovation perspective, and then really working closely with our CEO on kind of what are like long-term company plans and what do we really want to be focused on. So I think there's a lot of like cross-team collaboration that happens here. We are all in office. So there's like a lot of, brainstorming and quick conversations that I think are able to happen, which creates a really collaborative environment. And the fact that we're vertically integrated, like our speed to shelf is really quick. So I think we're able to react really quickly if we see a certain product type or flavor or something is popping, and kind of move quickly on a lot of those opportunities as well. And then I think from the larger branding perspective, ever since we really shifted our brand back in 2019, we kind of went through our big rebrand. It's been less about brand overhaul and more about just continuing to refine who we are as a brand. And I think one of our kind of main mottos as a company is that the journey is the destination, and we're always evolving, and we never get too stuck in stuff. And, a lot of that is a benefit, again, to the vertical integration, where if we see a product's not working, we are really quick to go to our customers and say, hey, notice the numbers are down on this. Don't worry, we have something new coming. And so we can be really, really proactive in a lot of that stuff because we do kind of manage everything internally, which has been such a blessing.
It really is. I mean, it's the horse's mouth, right? And you don't overthink it. Okay, they tell us they didn't like this product. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, just do it. And I think our CEO is all about, failing fast and learning from those failures. And so I think we're the type that's let's throw a bunch of stuff up at the wall and see what sticks. And then let's go really hard down that path.
Yeah.
Which is fun from a marketing perspective because we get to try a lot of different things all the time.
Absolutely. What role, MarTech?
Yep.
What role does MarTech play? And then how do you determine or prioritize which tools? And yes, that will include the omnipresent AI.
Yep.
But MarTech in general, how do you look at MarTech?
We do a little bit of it. I mean, we definitely have dabbled with AI. I'm lucky that I have a design team of 4. So I have a lot of creative chops in-house. I can see the benefit for companies that may not have such a robust creative leg, but that's always been really important to us, our brand identity, that we have a very, very clear biz ID. But I would say we're using some of the AI stuff more from a brainstorming perspective, the chat GPTs, we'll have a brainstorm and I'll kind of give a prompt for everyone, but everyone writes it in a slightly different way. And so we get back a bunch of different types of results and stuff like that. So I would say that's kind of more where we're leveraging it is not final product, but as we're ideating and brainstorming and, kind of figuring out how we're going to get to that end goal.
MarTech as a whole, are there, I assume you have CRMs and things like that.
Yep. So we work with Klaviyo, do a lot of stuff through them. That's really the big one. Obviously we have a couple of partnerships with some of the, retail media, ad platforms there, but really all we're using is Klaviyo. And then we have some project management tools, Asana that we use, but we're pretty scrappy and old school in a lot of ways.
I love that. You're not overcomplicating with 50 different in your MarTech stack.
No, we keep it pretty tight. I mean, the team is still really small for our size. And we like to just, I think we like to be really involved in a lot of what we're doing and not overcomplicate things.
Now, when it comes to data, and I'm really fascinated to ask you this about, because 99% of the brand's business comes from in-store, right? How is it like capturing customer insights, right? Is it more problematic because you don't have that direct one-to-one? You have the middleman of the retailer? Like, talk to us about how the brand captures insights when so much of it is done in store.
It's challenging. We work closely with like our, partner at Spins, who's pulling like all of our like sales data and kind of gleaning what we can there. But a lot of that like one-to-one consumer data we're not getting. We're working with platform called Aisle, which I don't know if you're familiar with them, but it's a digital couponing app and it's pretty interesting. It's the most streamlined way I've found of digital couponing in the last 7 years of working. But what you basically do is there's a landing site, you have an offer up there, you put your cell phone number in and you get delivered the offer there. So it could be a BOGO or a free bag or something like that. And then you, as the kind of user, take a picture of your receipt, send it back to that text chain, and you get Venmo'd whatever the deal was. So that's been really nice because I think we're, starting to it's bridging that gap a little bit of what's happening in store. And then we do have access to those email addresses to then add into our CRM platforms and stuff like that. So that's like been like kind of the cleanest way. And then we try and get what we can. We get a little bit of data from like some of our partners, but we're not getting a ton of that first party data because we are so in-store focused.
Right. You'll get some from the loyalty program, of course.
We get a little bit from that. I mean, I mentioned earlier, like we do try and do some like surveys and quick gut checks with like our social community. We've sent out things to our email list to kind of get some like feedback there. But it is a relatively small subset. So that is one of the challenges for sure of being such an in-store focused brand.
Do you ever do anything on the ground, like an in-store, in-person kind of, offer, giveaway and quick survey kind of thing?
We haven't really. I mean, I would say we'll do some like sampling. We have small bags, so it makes it really easy, like these little tiny 50-calorie packs, half ounce. So we give out a ton of bags. We do a lot of like, in-store pickup. So Walmart has a store pickup. You get a bag of our popcorn within that. So we do get some data back when we do some programs like that, but it's not, again, not first party necessarily. Yeah. It's more just we're able to track like, okay, of the people who are actually, given the sample, this is what we saw from like a sales perspective. So there's a little bit of that, but it's not robust by any means.
It's clearly more qualitative than quantitative.
For sure.
You kind of take it for what it's worth.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we like anecdotally have seen, when I first started out here, I was a team of basically one. And so I was really doing everything in my power to kind of spread awareness about the brand. And that was traveling to cities where we had more of a retailer presence and doing yoga festivals and running events and trying to get bags in hands just to create that, awareness. And I think like anecdotally, we've seen that once you try it and you kind of convert to the brand, and we've seen our sales continue to grow. There's not a one-to-one comparison, obviously, but I think like we're seeing some of those tactics are definitely working. It's just like determining like how much it's really contributing to everything.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned everybody's in the same building, right? For the most part. So I don't want to make the assumption because you never want to assume, but collaboration, which you and I both know is very important between the marketing and sales and other departments to align on those key business objectives. How does the company do? Is it easier because you're all there? Talk to us about collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, we do a lot. We have like weekly cross-functional meetings where we're kind of talking about what's on like coming up from a major, retail priority perspective, what is coming up from a major marketing. So we have those where there's probably, 30 people from the company on those calls. And so we're getting like a lot of information there. And that's happening on a weekly basis. We also have leadership meetings twice a week where we're sharing more high level type stuff where it's my CEO, my CFO, our VP of sales, our VP of strategy, our head of purchasing. And I think there's so many moving pieces to the company because we are that vertical integration. I share a wall with our head of operations. So like you're acutely aware of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So there is definitely, and I think it allows us, because we all are here and we all can see what's going on, it allows us to pivot. I mean, there was a time a couple of years ago when we were a lot smaller and we had an Easter multi-pack that we needed to get out the door, and we set up baggers in the office and we were stuffing multi-packs and everyone was kind of contributing. So there's, I think, and that's something I think that my CEO has like really fostered. He has an office. He doesn't sit in it. He sits out in the bullpen in the middle of the floor because he just likes to be in the mix and be a part of it. And so I think there's this relatively like flat corporate structure where obviously there is levels of hierarchy, but there's ideas are coming from everywhere and collaborations coming from everywhere, which at the end of the day just like creates something really special.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. It's a very unique dynamic. You know that.
Yeah.
That the company has. Yeah.
I know. I'm very, very blessed to be here.
Totally. Okay. Last thing I want to touch on is to get your forecasting hat on.
Yeah.
2025 and beyond, what do you see happening in marketing? Any trends, innovations? If I just kind of throw that out, what comes to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely been like a pull, and we started to see some shifts of like out of home kind of making a little bit of a comeback, where I feel like for so long that wasn't really like a big push, but I think that people are kind of craving that like touching and feeling the brand, and more of those like experiential things. So I think like we've gotten so digital, and I think AI is making us even more digital, that there's definitely that desire to like connect from like an in-person level and really make sure that like you can experience things in a way that's like a little bit more like authentic. So that's definitely something that I feel like we're seeing. And then I think like bias being in the natural food space, but I do think, having conversations with retailers, like the shift towards all of the natural food and the organic. And, I think people are waking up to their health and to what's actually going in their bodies. And I think there's just going to be like a continued focus on like the ingredients and making sure that like there's a lot of transparency in what we're doing as food companies.
Exactly. I mean, those are things I'm hearing. Sustainability is a big one.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then just especially in the Gen Z, what a given company stands for.
Yeah. Yeah, I think authenticity is like super important for Gen Z, especially where they can see right through when a company's saying something just to say something. And I think to your point in sustainability, you have to really make sure that you're like practicing what you preach. And it's not enough anymore just to say we're a clean brand. You have to like really be showing how and why you're a clean brand, which is a nice pressure to have because it, I think it forces everyone to get better and be better in a lot of ways. And that's obviously the goal is we would love for the food industry to be as clean as possible. So we're all for that, that kind of shift in what's happening right now.
I love that. Well, listen, what a great conversation. It absolutely flew by. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Talk soon.
Hey, I'm the guy from the video you just saw. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Now do yourself a favor. If you haven't already, subscribe to our content. Believe it or not, unconfirmed rumors and reports, you will see it increase in 20% in organic traffic just by subscribing. Okay, maybe not, but it's fun, right? But do yourself a favor, really. Subscribe to our content. You won't be sorry. Thanks.